Hey, it's Tpok, and I'm back in Hate Plus. So, we left off with Mornings After, and now we'll look at it from Aejong's perspective. Oh, that's bad. Yeah, it was bad from the start. With every passing day comes the increasing worries about what the next will bring. My only reprise from my fears comes from my rare dates with my cute flower Jinna. But more and more I truly hate these mornings after, for she has to return to the world of commoners and family, and I will return to mine to discover that attendance at the Silver Eternity is dropped again, and such patron has threatened to rescind their donation. Beside me I watch the naked form of my love selfishly sleeping as I write, and I have both overwhelming desire to join her, and trepidation towards the inevitable awakening the next morning. I long for nothing more than to be able to rest my head on her forever, and never have to leave. Yet I cannot, and I know that things are troubled. Before she arrived at the theater to pick me up, I was in conversation with the patron who offered, as many others have, to alleviate all my financial worries, at the price of offering something of mine that my beloved once held to herself. I let him show the typical amount of inappropriate affection, his hand on my cheek as he made his extraordinary demand. And when I declined, it was not out of a sense of dignity, but out of love for Jinna. Still, she walked in that sight, and while she said nothing, I am certain that it worried her. I tried to make it up to her with displays of over-affection, as I cannot bear the thought of her wearing her cute little head. I held her hand as we walked to the restaurant, and even let her order a second bottle of wine. Every time I am with her, my mind enters an endless spiral of worries that the moment is wrong, or that I'm not delivering enough. I don't know if that will ever go away. Perhaps that's simply how love is. Oh, that's sweet at least. Perhaps that's simply how love is. Despite my age and my pretenses, I have little genuine experience in such matters. See, this is why it doesn't make sense for women to be getting beat together. I can understand that, though. When we returned to my dingy room behind the theater, we ended up drinking more still, and it's in that state I found myself to be so emotionally vulnerable. These days, there seems to be no single girls in attendance at the theaters. Only families and grandmothers and old men, I lamented. Gone are the days of rich girls lining up to deliver love letters to me. I do miss them so. So you'll have to settle for me, she said, with her usual indifferent enthusiasm. I don't know how she keeps it up. I envy it. It's what gives me the energy to keep going, remembering that innocent smile of hers. I wanted her so much. I wanted to embrace her and to be overwhelmed with immediate passion for her, such that I could forget my lamentations and melancholy and simply live in that moment where I am naked before her excited smile. Wait, but I thought it was Aejong who played the man's role. Huh? What does that even mean? I know more about what makes you beautiful than all those girls did anyway, she told me, appraisingly, as I undressed and waited for her in bed. Do you? I wondered wistfully. She did, of course. She knew my vulnerability. Oh jeez, I shouldn't be reading this. She knew my weakness. With all those girls, even when I took them off to my bed, it was always so easy to me. I always knew that I was prettier and more desirable and more confident, and that not even for a second would I ever lose control of the situation. I would make them squirm and gasp and shudder for my amusement, at my will, never fearing that I was ever giving any less than exactly what they wanted from me. With her, though, it's special. I feel as though I have to try so hard to please her, as though she is the one who is perfect and in control, and I never have the confidence that I can meet her expectations, but I try so hard. Come here, I begged her, reaching out and longing. For some reason, the thought that she might not came to mind, and scared me, but she did. She is very uncomfortable right now, and Hyuna is only mildly so. I undressed her when she let me, letting her know that she was in control even in that facet. We kissed, and when she started to giggle, I could scarcely help myself from doing the same, despite my worries and melancholy. Then she took my body onto her lap, and my chest in her strong, calloused hands gripped me tightly, only enough for a tease though, only enough to make me stare at her longingly for the feeling of her rough fingers playing with me. My breasts themselves were only in her grip for seconds, but my heart still now remains ever firmly in her grasp. Then she started to bite my neck. This is... wow. At first gently to give me a chance to decline, as if I could say no to her, but then stronger, until I couldn't help but moan in pain and delight. When she was done, I touched my neck. It was so sensitive, so tender compared to the skin around it, and I felt so happy that she had found a way to leave me with something, an outward show of her love that wouldn't disappear when she left for work. I had to thank her. I had to kiss her, showing my gratitude for the most eloquent way I know how. As I pinned her down, giving her attention where she most deserved it, I felt like that for a moment all our barriers to communication had been lifted, that I knew what I was doing good enough for her, and what she wanted from me, and that I had nothing else in the world more to worry about, save for trying to draw more pleased noises out of her. She got louder and louder as I dedicated myself to her, letting out the most perfect wavering murmurs, gripping tightly to the sheets. I wish I could have heard that last ecstatic moan again and again. It was what I was longing for, her most explicit display of love and approval. And then she fell asleep, and I was brought back to the real world, the one where I can only rarely see my love, where the holder of that innocent smile speaks of naive dreams of living together, that with each day we can afford increasingly less. I feel really sad for her, though. How is that supposed to be innocent? Yeah, it's kind of funny. And so I can write down my feelings in the hopes that I can hold on to them when she leaves, and perhaps find strength and comfort in them. And now I will go to sleep at her side as long as I am able, and naked before her, adorned only by her mark on my neck, I declare I love her as much as I hate the mornings after. Okay. New counsel. What unbelievable rudeness from old Mute. You don't think Counselor Yang was worse? The Monganghwa High Council session for June 27th, 4042 has now begun. This is the first session since meritocracy exams, and there's a lot of new faces here. Congratulations, counselors. Plus one very old face. Counselor boy, you're not going to go very far if you don't learn to respect your elders like now. Just an observation. Moving on, there are a lot of items on the agenda that have been put forward by various counselors. Unless you'd rather spend your time bickering, I'd suggest we get started. Okay, let's get on with it. It's not my place to say. First on the agenda is the tribute consolidation proposal from Counselor Smith. You can find the full text of it in Appendix 1. You have the floor, Counselor. I can't believe it. I was this much of a shrew in the past? Thanks, sir. I'd like to propose moving a variety of small taxes and tributes and consolidate them into... No, absolutely not. If you'd let me finish, I think you'd find it agreeable. You're proposing that the noble family save some money by dumping it on the peasantry. This is absolutely crazy. Like, no wonder the ministers thought I was trouble, having known her. If you say so. You know, I read the proposal and it seems like this is shit that should have been covered by them anyway. It's not like nobles have used for example, the inner deck rail system. What's your problem, Mute? Wait, I thought engineering was supposed to be our family. Why is his name Han? I am also in favor. Good for you. My problem, Mr. Han, is that this is going to be a heavy burden on peasantry that, as of this moment, actually doesn't hit us right now. Like, seriously, is that going to be the first action of the new High Council? Piss away all our goodwill. We're really okay with that. I think everyone but you is really okay with that, yes. I don't care. I'll security veto if I have to, okay? Can she do that? I used to have that kind of power. Is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing? If there's cause for it, there's all kinds of cause for it. It's tantamount to declaring war on peasantry, which would be really stupid after all we've worked for. And it's also a security risk. We do that, it's going to lead to public demonstrations. Look, like, I appreciate what you're trying to do here, okay? I get it. I totally do. You're right, transferring it would be more fair. No, it's just, like, did she think wearing pants let her dictate men like that? And I'm sure everyone here wants to save the extra silver. And you're new, so, like, I get it, but you need to understand that is not how we do things here. The makeup of the council may have changed, boys, but it's still important that we're subtle in our actions. This is not subtle, okay? That's sanctimonious. That's the truth. Look, no vote is going to happen on this, okay? No matter what, take the proposal back and find a way to do it that won't enrage the peasantry. Then we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it again. That's the bottom line. If that's the only way, it really is. Then let's move on to the next order of business. Councillor Tay and Councillor O have a proposal that would no. Pardon me? Will he not even let me speak? Save your breath. It is a terrible idea. The effect will be that no peasant will be able to use any of the ship's computers. You realize this, right? That isn't what it says. Oh, come on. You know that that's going to be the effect, though. This is kind of insane. What's wrong with encouraging the peasantry to seek out a proper education? It's because it's not going to encourage them to do that? It's going to encourage every single person who have ever written a letter with the word democracy in it into a riot. Like, we're going to see things on fire. Probably even outright banditry. Whoa. It's important that we raise the level of literacy. As the meritocracy exam results demonstrated, it's a massive problem even in the upper classes. Yeah, well, you think that's going to have the effect even if then you are even dumber than your predecessor. I don't know if you can hear those people outside. My walls are paper thin. That's completely out of line. Yeah, withdrawn, but find another way to promote the agenda, one that won't end in my department needing to put out fires. Will you abuse your security veto for everything this council puts forward? Just watch me. Then there's no point in prolonging this. Next item on the agenda is a proposal tabled by Councillor Yang, the proposed Electoral Monitors Act. You can find the text of it in the 5th appendix. I hope you won't be vetoing this one out of hand, Councillor Mute. Well, I don't like the part where it takes money out of my budget for officers not under my control. But I don't think it's a security risk, no. For everyone else, the purpose of the act is to provide independent third-party monitors for the presidential elections to ensure that they occur without fear, tampering that's lingered in the past. I'm sure the Councillor of Security will attest to how much of a problem this can be. Yeah, it's a problem. No dispute there. Taking it out of my budget is kind of problematic, though. Councillor Smith, can you think of any alternative funding sources the Act could be amended to use? No, in fact, I don't see any reason to put it to a debate. It looks like Councillor Mute will simply have to deal with it. I'm moving to call a vote immediately. Jeez, she sure deserved that one. Oh, I see how this is. Seconded. I'd also like to second it. Yep, same. That was much quicker than anticipated. Of all the petty... Well, call it then. How does the council vote? I'm in favor. Also in favor. The Councillor of Engineering and Science is in favor. The Councillor of Culture is in favor. The Councillor of Captaincy is in favor. Likewise, the Councillor of State is in favor. Okay, the Councillor of Security is in favor. The act passes unanimously. then and will be sent directly to the president for signing. It's traditional at this point to take a break for the mornings around this time. A motion to recess. Seconded? Gladly. The council will reconvene in an hour then. Dismissed. There's something I want to talk about, okay? Sure. So, hey, Mr. Investigator, do you mind if I ask Hyuna a few things? Is that okay with you? Go ahead. Okay, thanks. What's this about? Well... Yeah. Yeah? Oh. She's being really mean. Please, can you tell her to be less mean to me? You tone it down. See, even he thinks you're being too mean. They don't even know what I said. I still don't know. Hey, Mr. Investigator, you don't think it's inappropriate for a woman to write... You don't think it's inappropriate for a woman to write down dirty thoughts, right? It's fine. Well, okay, but I think you'd change your mind if you knew what some of them were. Please, can we just not talk about this? I'm sorry. Don't embarrass me in front of our rescuer like this. Jeez, it was a really long time ago and I was really lonely. I wouldn't write things like that now. Can we please move on? Come on, Mute. I know you're the one who wanted to read about what happened pre-year 0. Let's get back to it, please. Okay, fine. So long as we're not reading any more women writing about unladylike sex fantasies in explicit detail. Ah, jeez, let's just get back to it, please. Oh, okay. Oh, something's in my inbox. Please do not ignore Mr. Sung Lee. Hello. Let me start by introducing myself. Mr. Sung Lee, credit officer of the Star Union Bank something Limited. I do insist in your confidence in this transaction. I am making this contact with you based on reliable information available to me courtesy of Internet Business Index and confirmed by my local chambers of commerce and industry concerning your reputation. Thus, I am convinced you would be capable to provide me with a solution to a money transfer transaction of 43,600,000 Union credits. Whoa. This is to seek your cooperation as my foreign partner and your assistance to enable me own a property and invest in the stable economy of your planet. I accept my apologies if this mail does not suit your personal or business ethics. All further information to facilitate the remittance of the funds will be revealed to you in due course. For your assistance, you shall receive 25% of the funds and be transferred, and 10% will be set aside for all expenses incurred by both parties. Kindly reply me with your private email for confidential reasons and Star Radio frequency so I can give you more details and explain the procedures of the proposal to you. Kindly delete this email if it does not suit your personal or business ethics, as I will gladly appreciate it. I don't really know what he's talking about. I also don't know how to reply. But, I'm gonna end it here. So, yeah, how many do we have left? Like 3? Oh yeah, that one. So these 3 we'll get to next time, I guess. Yeah. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.